Hello there, Erica. We're here today for you. This is going to be your personal reading. Thank you so much, as always, for your support. I'm really happy to be pulling some messages for you today. Let me breathe. I just got really, I don't know, when I started your reading, really happy and excited. So take that as you will. There might be something new that you're starting. I actually real quick want to re-go over your message. I probably should have done this before I started. Forgive me. Let's see here. Here you are. Time, okay. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad I read that. So I feel like your excitement about something has more to do with kind of your own personal confidences. And I think when you sent me this message of the things you were kind of going through, it was right at this time before it was in the pre-shadow period of the Leo full moon, if I can talk right now, excuse me. And so we were all experiencing a lot of things were coming up as far as our relationships go and our connections go. And it makes perfect sense that you don't really feel comfortable moving on. Just going out in the dating world, which is a shallow and scary and kind of weird place to begin with. If you have feelings for someone already and you, like you said, have hope for this connection that you have with someone. So maybe, I don't know how things are going now, but let's pull some cards. I don't want to channel too much and get ahead of myself here. Sorry, I just really got to thinking there. But I do feel this general excitement when I started your reading that was sort of maybe you have a new personal project going on. Maybe you've also taken notice in the last couple days since sending me this message or since you've been kind of thinking through all of this and thought, you know what? I can take a little break from worrying about this and I can worry about my own projects, my own work, my own hobbies, my own things, focusing on my stuff and kind of giving myself a break from all this relationship stuff. The Chariot. Okay, so maybe no break. I'm seeing a home kind of card here. So actually this could also be speaking to that same concept, but I kind of see two different messages here with the Chariot card for you. The one hand is a family card, a home card, so it could be that this relationship that you are talking to me about that means a lot to you and the person you really care about, it could be that you feel really at home with this person and it's not something that it's not something that you feel so frequently that it isn't a surprise and a pleasant thing to you. So maybe you feel really at home with that person and that could be why they're so special to you. So I'm getting a lot of that. But I'm also getting an inner self home as well. So it could be maybe also that you are meeting yourself in this higher place so that you can be ready and willing to meet this relationship at that higher place. And you're hoping, I think, that this person is also kind of doing the same and wanting to meet you and match you with that same energy. So that's what we've got so far here. Also, I got a bit stoned. I don't know why I always get stoned before a reading because then I'm all over the place, but also when I'm channeling in general, I'm all over the place, so I think it goes hand in hand. But I just hope we get some messages that are good for you. I'm so silly. Looking like little corgi in the picture there. He's so cute. That's Maybe. Maybe I told you last time that his name's Maybe, or maybe you already knew because you follow us on social media. Anyhow, Spirit's really grateful. Let's get some messages for Erica today about her current situation, about her relationships, just about her life in general, the 2021 year ahead, all that good stuff. Spirit, thank you. Some messages for Erica, please. 2021, the year ahead, current situation, relationships, things going on in Erica's life. Spirit, truly grateful. Let's get some messages today for Erica. What does Erica need to know for her current situation? Things she's going through. Alright, we'll take this. Alright, we'll take that. We'll start with these. I'm getting a lot from these couple cards here, so we will start with them. Alright, we've got the Four of Cups here. And so what I'm seeing is kind of this emotional stability, or this emotional like well-being, solid ground, kind of even keel, kind of having your cups in a row in order, your ducks in a row in order as far as your emotions go. And I also see a very connectedness with this card. So with the kind of moon image up above here, and the way that that's reading as far as the images go, I would say that there's a higher connection with, power above you, which we all have that spirituality that we, kind of turn to or kind of look to in the harder times in life and even in the better times in life. And it just feels like maybe you're making these bigger connections with your higher self and with your higher powers lately. And that's been really good for you as far as your emotional intelligence goes and your emotional well-being goes. And as far as, moving more towards your path of your true and authentic self. And the person that you especially want to be in this life, without holding yourself back, without worrying about the things that have happened in the past, not letting those things hold you back any further. And sort of, I think, maybe having this grasp on your emotional well-being and your emotional landscape that you haven't necessarily always had, and you feel like you're understanding yourself and others in better ways, and in ways that maybe you never felt like you have before, and it feels like deeper connections are being made. And you're discovering more about yourself, and you're asking the right questions, so you're discovering more about others, you're finding, I think, too. Is what I'm seeing here with this card. I have the Ten of Cups next here, which, talks to me a little bit about an emotional outpour, kind of needing to purge emotions a little bit, but also I'm seeing with this same message is that in doing that, you're going to be met with positive result in return. People are going to in turn pour into you in that way and pour their emotions into you. The more you share, the more you put out there, the more vulnerable you're willing to make yourself, you're going to be matched with that energy. And it's sort of like cyclical in that way where it's kind of this equal give and take that I'm seeing. And it could be that the relationship that you're referring to, your most important, romantic relationship, it could be that you feel a lot of that reciprocity within that. And that's really refreshing, maybe, and new to you, and something that you aren't really used to experiencing. And so that could be some of the big reasons as to why this is such a standing out, like, special relationship in your life. So just a few things to think about. Let's see what other messages we can get for you. I would say communication, vulnerability, that's going to be big factors in trying to move forward in that connection, I think, as well. Even if there is a little time where you feel like you have to give it some space and step back, when you are ready to go back, make sure that clear communication and direct communication is put to use, and try not to play games with people. I'm not saying you are, and hopefully they're not playing any games with you, but we all have so much baggage and so much that we've been through that it's hard not to bring all of that to the table. But we just kind of have to focus on the other person and ourselves and what we want with them and what we have with them. And not let that other stuff get in the way if that's really what is meant to be, if you're really meant to be with this person. And you should be able to talk to them, really, about anything, I think. Spirit, let's get some messages from Erica. Okay. Wow. Alright, we've got the death card here for you. So I don't want that to be a scary thing because it's not necessarily. It just means there's something, an old phase kind of ending so that a new phase can begin. It's sort of, things that maybe were just, their time was up. Things that maybe just weren't serving us anymore, or things that maybe had just come to their end and it was time for them to expire. Those things are dying so that new things can be regenerated and created. Death always comes along with new, always comes along with growth, always comes along with rebirth, always comes along with, new things that are starting. And these are just endings. These are endings and new chapters that follow. There could be some kind of big change that you're going through. It could be some sort of ego death that you're going through as well, where you're kind of just like, there are parts of myself I no longer want to carry, and there are parts of what I've been through in my lived experiences that, just don't serve me anymore, and that I just don't want to keep. Excuse me, my sweater vest comes unbuttoned very easily. I don't know why. So maybe just things where you're like, I'm tired of these patterns and these habits. Forgive me. Turn that on silent. These patterns and these habits that are, prohibiting me or holding me back or keeping me from doing things that I really feel called to do. Those things are dying. It's a death to those things. I have the Judgment card here. So it could be sort of a big decision that you are coming towards, that you're having to make. It could be in regards to these endings. I want to get some clarification. I'm going to read from the book on the Son of Wands next, just to see if that gives us any further insight into what's happening here with the death and the Judgment. The Son of Wands is charming and adventurous. The Son of Wands is a true charmer. He's handsome and adventurous and seems to say all the right things. Some call him the White Knight of the Tarot, but at some point you may find he becomes hard to know. Trust your instinct with this one. Perfection is an illusion. Okay, so maybe there's someone who's wearing some false masks with you. It's kind of what I'm seeing. Maybe you feel like you're not getting the whole truth, nothing but the truth and all of the truth. Maybe you feel like someone's hiding something from you. And there's kind of a lot of darkness and depth that you are going through with that right now. Maybe it's sort of feeling like you don't know yourself, or you don't know someone as well as you thought you did. And I think that can even be more on a macro level of the whole country right now, or even world, where it's like things we thought we knew, things that we thought to be true about ourselves and others, like we realize at a certain point that maybe those things aren't necessarily true. Maybe those things aren't all that we thought they once were. So that's kind of the energy I'm getting with this. So let's get a couple more clarifiers for this death and this Judgment and this Son of Wands. But it's looking like some illusions, some things that just kind of need to be put to rest or talked out once and for all. Sort of like there are some lies or some things or some deceptions where it's just like, all right, oh wow, we're getting the Son of Wands, the Son of Swords, and the Father of Wands now. Looks like there's some inner conflict, some major inner battle and some inner strife kind of going on. But it looks like the person, that you're dealing with that could be struggling with those inner battles is trying to get better. And so they are not completely void of effort that it takes to heal and to move forward and to progress and to make change. Because we have the Son of Swords here, so they've gone from the Son of Wands to the Son of Swords, which is taking action. So instead of just sitting kind of complacently, there's action being taken, and there's progress being made. And that's sort of the series of events I'm seeing here. And so it could be that you are thinking about whether or not to give someone a second chance. It's kind of what I'm getting after. Maybe there was some sort of miscommunication or some sort of mess up, some sort of something that really went wrong, is a little bit of what I'm getting. So yeah, maybe just give this person a chance. Don't be so harsh when it comes to judging them or being in that judgment zone. And let some old parts of your ego and even old things that you've done and that they've done and things that have been said that don't matter anymore, let some of those things die, because there's no sense in carrying them with us into new portions of ourselves and new portions of our relationships and new chunks in time that we're moving into. We don't need to carry all that old stuff. It's just not conducive. So those are the messages I'm getting there for you. Let's keep going. I'm having some Earl Grey tea. It's been a pretty good weekend for me. I went grocery shopping. I'm going to clean a little bit today. I'm working on writing this literary essay that I'm going to submit to a little publication. So it's been fun. I hope that you're having a good weekend also. Yeah. My dogs are here. They're being pretty good boys, I suppose. That's always good. All right. Let's get some final advice cards for Erica here. Spirit, please give us a few cards of advice for Erica. Moving forward, with her current life, current situation, current relationships, current things that she's going through. Ooh, okay. So what I'm seeing here is a little bit of try a little tenderness message. So it could be reconnecting. It could be, your advice could be to kind of take it easy, on yourself and on someone. And don't be afraid to be a little romantic. Don't be afraid to be a little squishy. Don't be afraid to be like extra with your compliments or with your gifts or showering people with love or even showering yourself with love. I think that's the big message that I'm seeing here. The big advice is maybe just reconnecting also. Taking the time to reach out and reconnect. I know it's a fucking pandemic. It's so hard right now to see our people safely and to even not completely isolate ourselves. I know we need to see people. I mean, human connection is such a big part of our lives. So I totally get, trying to be cautious about that, trying to while still keeping balance. And maybe this could be a message about that too, where it's maybe you've been really strict and safe about your COVID rules and bubbles, but maybe it's time to expand to have one more person in your bubble, not as to be fuck it, it's not happening, but just to say I need human connection and to recognize your need for that and to answer to that call in whatever ways you see fit. So yeah, it could be reaching out to new people, or it could be connecting with, people that we already know and love, and finding ways to show our love and our appreciation and our affection in this time. Some other advice I'm seeing here for you, the Three of Swords. Excuse me. So with the Three of Swords, I'm seeing, I don't know, taking this as an advice card is kind of hard. I'm trying to understand it. Let me get a little clarifier here. Spirit, please clarify this advice of the Three of Swords for us. It's just sort of heartbreak and in a bind, and maybe it's your advice is to kind of listen to that, to kind of take your feelings of this is hurting, I'm spreading myself a little too thin, or I'm pushing myself a little too far with something, and maybe listen to that and take a break, but let's get a clarifier here. Spirit, please clarify for us this Three of Swords in the advice section. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, so I'm getting pentacles. I'm getting growth as far as money is concerned, and maybe it just feels like financially you've been in a rut, or you are feeling like you're having a hard time growing your finances, maybe, or some sort of situation like that is what I'm seeing, because there's a lot of strife, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of burden, kind of like stuck energy, feeling like you're bound, feeling like you can't get out of certain things, feeling like there's just this pit of darkness kind of inside of you. And when I ask, what's this about? What is this involving? And it feels like it's really about financial development and financial growth, and kind of maybe feeling at a loss with finances. And I think a lot of us do right now. That's not to minimize your situation, of course, but that's a big thing going on right now, and a big theme, and we're in an economic kind of a state of emergency as far as this country goes, and with how much the wealth gap has become and how hard it is to just afford survival. So you could be really feeling the weight of that, I think, a lot, is what I'm getting from this energy. So as far as taking that as advice, I would say maybe sort of embracing it in the sense of, knowing that there's a new way you need to think about money, and there's a new, there's more that you could be doing financially, or changes that you could make financially. So maybe the advice here is to kind of use your connections with others. Not use, I don't want to be like, oh, you're an opportunist, or say that even being an opportunist is a bad thing, because I don't think that's true. But it sort of just looks like maybe as far as your bind goes financially, you could enlist the help of others, or be sure to reach out and ask for help more. And you can't get things if you don't reach out and ask for them. So that's kind of a message I'm getting right now for you as well. To kind of not be afraid. Don't feel so restricted. I'm kind of getting restriction in the throat and the heart chakra here with this card as well. With the Three of Swords. That it's like sort of maybe you have been afraid to ask for help, or have been having a hard time vocalizing what it is you need, or your wants, or your desires and things like that. And it looks like a lot of that could be related to your finances, or to your own personal growth projects that you're trying to get off the ground, or that you wish you had more time for, but it feels like you're always busy working for the man all the goddamn time. I don't know what you do for work, but of course none of us really like spending 8 to 10 hours a day making money for someone else to get a small portion of it. Bullshit. So maybe you could be thinking about that a lot, and how that's sort of making you feel restricted, and how that sort of feels like it's slowing you down, or keeping you from things that you would rather be doing. Keeping you from your connections, keeping you from your connection with yourself, keeping you from, your passion. So that's a lot of what I'm getting there. Let's kind of start to carry this out with the final message at the bottom of the deck being the Mother of Wands. I'm going to read the Mother of Wands card just so we can get a clear message from the creator of the deck. And then I'll also tell you a little bit about what I think of the Mother of Wands after that. I think overall a good reading. I think there were a lot of... It wasn't sugar-coated, There was some heaviness in there, certainly. But I feel like overall it was a good reading, and I feel good energies for you about things. Take some time to think about things. Mercury is in retrograde right now, so don't feel any rush to make any big decisions. Take your time with things. Slow down, Be sure to, if you argue with someone or have a disagreement, just tell them you love them. Talk to them later, No need for the negativity. Okay, so the Mother of Wands here. And as always, a pleasure reading for you, so thank you so much for your support. I just want to throw that in there. I really am grateful. Thank you, Erica. So the Mother of Wands is attractive, domestic, and vibrant. The Mother of Wands is a vibrant woman and happy mother. Family comes first in her world. She's very protective of it and is the dominant parent within the home. Though proud and determined, she has enough grace and beauty that you'd hardly notice her forceful nature. Oftentimes, she has overcome great pain or trauma in her life. It's important not to get on her bad side. Okay, so it just looks like you are starting to embody this very nurturing and motherly energy. And it definitely doesn't mean, you know that you're going to be a mother, or you are, and you might be also actually an actual mother, but it just is saying that you have a very strong, independent, willful, nurturing, motherly, all-encompassing, just divine feminine vibe and energy that you are sitting in right now, and that you've been culminating and working towards. And so I love that for you. And that's all we've got for you today. I hope that was a good reading for you. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Again, thank you so, so much. And happy Sunday. I hope the week ahead is great for you, and that everything is great for you, of course.